made of it so far, Wayne? I know last time we spoke, you hadn't really had a chance. I think it was literally after the first week, I think we spoke, and you said you hadn't really had a chance to look at any of the games. So have you had a chance since?
I think since me and you had that conversation,
Did I promote it to you?
yeah, you did.
Good,
You did, to be
good,
fair.
good.
Because let's put it out there from the very get-go. I'm a big fan of the Club World Championships. And the reason why I say that is because when you're talking about the World Cup and you talk about national teams are limited by players that are eligible by nationality. But in terms of clubs, there's no such limit. You can go out and assemble the best squad of players that your pocket can build.
PSR allows you to.
Don't say that to Chelsea. Don't say that to Man City.
True, they don't operate.
Real Madrid don't operate. Barcelona don't operate in that.
Well, to be fair, Real Madrid have just started telling players to run down your contracts and we'll get you for free. Apparently, Ebu's the next one from Ibra Kanate from Liverpool's the next one, apparently. But anyway, sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you can get the best players from all over the world and put them in one team, and everybody wants to know which is the best club in the world, which is the best team in the world. I do actually think there's an appetite there potentially that it could become more popular than the Champions League globally. And we've got the World Cup for national teams, and then you've got the Club World Championship. So I do think it's going to be a huge tournament. And I think, considering FIFA governs world football and UEFA governs European football, I don't understand how UEFA are able to make more money than FIFA.
Yeah, and I think that's just down to the frequency of competition, right? So FIFA obviously make a bag of money
off the World
Cup, but it's only
once every 4 years.
Correct. So
but then FIFA they have the Euro Championships every 4 years.
UEFA. Yeah. FIFA. I was like, no, UEFA. Yeah.
UEFA Championship every 4 years. So they're making money from that
every 4 years.
But then they also have the Champions League every year,
which is the real money spinner.
Right there.
Exactly.
So for me, I'm looking at that Club World Championships. That's the direct rival
to the Champions
League.
Indeed.
So everyone's talking about, oh, it's too much football, and how can you fit it in to give the players a break? Inevitably, in my view, it's going to be one or the other. It's either going to be Champions League or World Cup Championship.
You see, I think doing that robs us of an amazing product that we have in the Champions League. I don't think the Champions League should be the one to drop out. So one of my views were in the early days of the Club World Cup when it first started, people saying, "Oh, but players, they need time to rest and so on and so forth." Totally agree. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get time to rest. However, one competition I think we could do without is the Nations League. Now, if they remove Nations League fixtures from the yearly calendar and give players either a rest in those weeks, or you play through your normal domestic fixtures in those weeks, meaning the season could finish earlier, so you do away with some of those international breaks in a Club World Cup year leading up to the Club World Cup. So therefore the players do get a break at the end of the season before going to the Club World Cup, rather than playing right up to the final. Like, as you say, PSG, they played in the Champions League final, but within about 2 or 3 weeks they were flying out to the US to compete in the Club World Cup. So for me, you could do away with the Nations League. The Nations League for me was always a bit of a filler. Everyone was getting bored with the pointless friendlies, exactly. So they've created this Nations League to create pretty much friendlies, but that allow more competitive nature with the different, obviously, seedings, the different groups. So you have to be, as you play, if you're in Group A or C, if you're A seeds, then you play against all of the better teams across Europe, and as you go down the train or down the chain. And the relegation promotion thing, yeah, there was something in it. Okay, yeah, it worked. But I'd rather watch the Club World Cup every 4 years than watch Nations League in that year. I would not miss the Nations League if they said, okay, just for that 1 year leading up to the Club World Cup, there's no Nations League.
How often would you have the Club World Championship?
Every 4 years.
So 3 out of 4 years would be
Nations League, as normal. So business as usual. And then just in the year leading up to the Club World Cup, you do away with the Nations League.
I can see.
So UEFA are still making their money off the Nations League 3 out of 4 years, but they're giving some room for a competition that, like yourself, I see great value in.
I'm going to go back to the Club World Championship. Yeah. Watching other continents, top tier football teams playing football, and like when you think of Brazilian teams, you think of like Brazilian flair, samba. And I watched, was it Fluminense or was it Botafogo?
Against, can you remember who it was
I
against?
can't remember who it was again.
Okay.
All I know is that they put it on you.
Yeah.
They put it on you, and then wingers, they're tricky wingers. They ain't passing it backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna go at you, I'm gonna go at you, I'm gonna keep going at you until I beat you. And then when I beat you, I'm going for goal.
Yeah.
And I think it's been not a revelation, but I think it's been refreshing to see that there's Brazilian teams that attack.
Well, the early games, and I watched the Palmeiras game, the very first game they played against Porto. Yeah, I think it was Porto. And what I saw in Palmeiras that I, maybe haven't seen in European football for a while was just a desire to go forward at every opportunity. What I saw in Palmeiras was old school Brazilian football, played at that walking pace, and then when they get in and around the box, they kind of speed up again. You know what I mean? Yeah, as they get around the box, especially with the weather temperatures out there, the weather conditions. It's been silly temperatures out there. So to a degree, the Club World Cup, probably the conditions anyway, favoured maybe the South American teams more than it did the European teams. And you could really see how those South American teams, manage the heat in terms of, slowing the game down when they need to, and then, quickening it up when they need to as well. But as you rightly said, it's really good for me anyway. One of the things that I made note of was that it's great to see a couple of South American teams that made it into the latter stages. So you did have Palmeiras, who made it into the quarterfinals. They obviously went out against Chelsea, which again was a really good test for Chelsea. They won the game 2-1. They needed an own goal to get through. Palmer scored one of the goals. And then Chelsea new boy, who was still at Palmeiras, but due to join Chelsea, obviously this month, Estavo, he scored the other goal against his future, or if you like, current employers. So that was quite nice to see. But again, coming back to what you said earlier on, it's this thing that we've never had the opportunity to see the best of Europe play the best of South America, for example.
It's not just
in
South America,
competitive.
it's the whole.
I know, but that's been one of that. Those are seen as the two probably most, and it's been proven by the last four of the competition. Those are probably your two most competitive regions, right? Europe and South America. South Americans lose players to the European teams all the time because of the money in Europe. But what the South American teams are showing is, well, we can still hang with you, even if we're selling all of our best players to you. Look at the players that we're just producing off the, just like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's
off the
like
conveyor belt.
You buy one Brazilian winger.
Yeah.
There's another 10 in the league still that could do a job.
Correct.
And you was talking to me about, was it a 35-year-old winger that was?
Yeah. I can't remember his name. I think he was playing for Palmeiras. Or it might have been Botafogo. I can't remember. But he came on, and when the commentator said 35, I was like, who they're talking about? It can't be that guy. It's like I was twisting people up. You know what I mean? And he scored a goal. So I think it's great. As you rightly say, it's not just South America and Europe. South Africa had a team in there.
All continents were represented.
Sunrise, I can't remember the full name. Something Sunrise. Something Sunrise. Uara Red Diamonds. Apologies about the pronunciation. You had, I know. Tell me about it. You had ES Tunis from Tunisia. You had Olsen Hyundai, which I believe was from Japan.
Really?
Just guess that one. Was it Japan actually? Is Hyundai Japan? Or is it Malaysian?
No, I'm sure it's Japan.
Okay, cool. So what's that?
Hyundai.
It's Hyundai. Very true. Very true. Thank you for correcting me. So you had all of these teams who most of us would never have heard of prior to the Club World Cup. And they came and they were all competitive.
Yeah. Apart from
Auckland City.
Yeah.
And to be fair,
they're part-timers.
They don't have the infrastructure. Obviously, the money's not there in the game.
Guys take leave from work to come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unpaid leave to come.
But again, what an opportunity for them to be able to come and test their wits against some of the best in the world, right? The public perception has definitely been that it's a waste of time. But if you look at the clubs that are competing in it, they want to win.
100 million say you want to win.
Yeah, no, but when you look at it from a player's perspective, you'd be forgiven for thinking, okay, yeah, they're just, they're a bit half-hearted. Obviously, the club You know, the owners, they want to, line their pockets. Some of that will probably come down to the players in terms of maybe bonuses, win bonuses
No,
potentially.
but as a player,
Yeah.
imagine being like you play for the best club in the world,
And it's official.
and
This isn't an opinion.
no, yeah,
It's not an opinion.